Oh no, the buyer backed out of the contract. What are you gonna do? Now, this is something that I get all the time. I ask all the time because we talk about putting and or signs, and I have a video, if you see the link below, about and or signs and how it gives you total control in a contract. But what happens when the buyer that you're going to eventually sell the contract to or assign the contract to, what happens when they back out and then you're stuck with the contract? What do you do? Well, hey guys, my name is Dustin Heiner with Master Passive Income, and I want to walk you through that process of basically being a problem solver to figure out what are you going to do if the buyer backs out of a contract, which would be very, very irritating. But there are so many things that we can do and jump forward to where we can absolutely still make money from the deal and not lose our earnest money. First up, it must be said, never go into contract with a bad deal. If it's a bad deal and you possibly, here a property comes to you or a seller comes to you and says, I want to sell you this property. Well, you're looking at the deal and you're realizing most investors won't want this. Like price is way too high, too much rehab or whatever it might be. Don't go under contract with a property that is a bad property. I, as an investor, and what I teach all of my students that we invest in real estate rental properties, when we buy properties, we never ever, I don't care if it's a bundle of like 100 deals or 100 properties with one lemon in there, I never buy a bad property. Never, ever buy a bad property because you never know. It's going to be dead weight. It can lose money and all that sort of stuff. So never lock up a property under contract that is a bad property or a bad deal that investors will not want to buy. Now, let's say you actually have it under contract and you're just about ready to get done, maybe a week out or 2 days out or whatever it might be. The buyer backs out. You were going to assign it. You're going to make a sweet commission of like $5,000. Seller was going to be happy. Buyer seemed like he's going to be happy, but they back out. First off, don't panic. Definitely don't panic. Don't run around, everything, we're going to die or anything like that. Definitely don't do that. What we want to do is we want to be a problem solver. Now, we want to go back to what we went into the contract originally with the seller. When we went with the seller initially, we asked them, what is it that you need? Remember, we're creating win-win-wins inside of real estate investing. Win for the seller, win for me as the wholesaler or somebody with the contract, and then win from the buyer. We want everybody to win because when everybody wins, nobody walks away like they got shysted, as well as we all make money. We get what we want. So remember, the very first thing that we went through when we were talking to the seller is saying, what is it that you need? How can I help you with your property? What are your problems? If you figure out what their problems are, and know how to address them, how to fix them, how to get them out of those problems, then you can figure out the problems and the solutions to those problems. So I'll give you an example. Let's say, for instance, the buyer backed out because they could not get funding for the property. The buyer backs out. They said, you know what, I thought I was going to get financing and I just can't. I have a little bit of a down payment, but I can't do the financing. The loan didn't go through. Well, what you can do as a problem solver, let's say you realize that the seller, they just didn't want the property anymore. They don't necessarily need all the cash. They just didn't want to have the headache anymore. You think, well, hey, this may be a great opportunity for seller financing. Let me go to the buyer or even yourself. You can go to them and say, hey, would you be okay? Like the buyer is saying that they can't come up with the financing. Would you be okay with doing seller financing where they'll give you a down payment? You can still take the property back if they stop paying, but basically you're the bank making so much money just like as a bank normally would. You're making all that money. So that's an option because you knew their problems. You knew how to get them out of that problem. You put two and two together. So a great option would be, hey, seller, would you be okay with seller financing? That could be a fantastic option for us as investors and wholesalers. Now, let's say that the buyer wants to back out because they see problems with the property. They had the home inspection. They saw that there was maybe some termite damage or there's foundation issues, roof issues. Maybe there's some issues. The seller wants to back out. Well, you know that the seller is trying to sell it. And you also know that the buyer wants to buy a good property. Well, instead of having them back out, you talk to the buyer and say, hey, buyer, what if I, instead of just saying, this is the deal, what if I go back to the seller and ask them, would you be able to fix, afford paying and fixing the roof right now? Or would you credit them the amount to fix the roof? Like we want to figure out what the problems are and remove those pain points. That's a big thing we want to do. Let's say, for instance, it's the roof. The roof is bad. The roof inspector said, hey, it's another year and then it's going to be destroyed. Like you literally need it removed and replaced. Well, it's going to be a $5,000 job. The buyer's like, I don't want to spend $5,000. That's over my budget. I just can't afford it. Well, you say, well, light bulb. Well, hey, buyer, You don't need a new roof. You need it to have a roof. It's going to be $5,000. Seller, would it be okay if you actually replace the roof? Or you credit $5,000. Don't write a check for $5,000. We just had the property locked up at $100,000. We have a credit of $5,000 going back, which on paper is what it looks like. A credit from over here, or a debit over here from the seller, and a credit to the buyer. It's no money changed hands. So instead of them paying $100,000, they're literally paying $95,000, which helps them because they realize, well, shoot, that roof's paid for. I got $5,000 back in my pocket. Let me go ahead and fix that roof. If you can't figure out how to get this buyer and this seller to connect, or to work, it's just not going through. All of a sudden you're realizing, my goodness, it's just this buyer's done. What you can always do is ask for an extension. Ask for an extension from the seller to you as the buyer and or signing it. Remember, I have the and or assign videos. It's in the description below. But I have that and or assigns video to show you how you can assign it. You're assigning it to somebody else, but you go to the seller and say, hey, I don't want to change anything else in the contract. I just need a little bit more time. Could you give me 2 more weeks to make sure we can close on this property? If they want to know the details and you want to tell them, go right ahead. I know in the past, I've had to ask for extensions in the past where I think I had literally 3 extensions because the bank was taking so long with the financing. I just literally got 3 extensions, and I was really happy that the seller kept allowing the extensions. It was just great. Oh yes, another extension. Yes, another extension. I think it was the 3rd extension we finally closed, but it took forever. So that's one thing you could always do, and ask for extension. You could always ask for anything, like say the contract. Give you another example. Let's say there's something in the contract that you already agreed upon with the seller, but the only buyer or a lot of buyers are saying, I don't like this in the contract. You can go back to the seller. It's not fun, but you can go back to the seller and say, hey, the contract is great other than this 1 or 2 aspects. Could we adjust that and then make up an addendum, write it out, say this has changed, have you both sign it, and then that contract is amendment to the contract, not addendum, but an amendment to the contract. It's now amended, you can take it to buyers. So that's another option, is to actually amend or change the contract with the seller. Now it is irritating, but if you get into deals knowing what the buyer wants and knowing what the seller wants, then you can hopefully get it connected without having any of these issues. You may have already exhausted your Rolodex of buyers. You may have already done all your buyers, nobody wants to buy this property. Well, another option is continually looking for buyers. Go through every RIA meeting, put on Craigslist, go on Facebook Marketplace, tell your friends and family, have your mom and dad or somebody, tell everybody about this property. Your job right now is marketing this property then as a realtor would. Now, you're not putting on the MLS. You can put on Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, and all those sort of things. You can absolutely do that, but your job is now to market this property as a good investment for a buyer. So that's your next job now. Buyers back out. No buyers, get new buyers to then buy that property. And one option that's much more dear to my heart is find money that you can buy the property yourself and do whatever else that investor would do. If you're going to flip it, get the money yourself, flip the property. If it's a good rental property, it's a buy and hold property, find the money, hard money, private money, friends and family, mortgages, IRA, 401k, self-directed IRAs, all that sort of stuff. Do that to then acquire the property. So don't let it go out. If it's a good deal, do everything you can to not let that deal go through your hands. Getting others to also invest with you into that property or pooling investors together is another fantastic option for you to figure out how to get this property sold. And you would potentially own it or a group of other investors, but you can also pool people together. Pull a lot of other investors together so that as you are coming up with the down payment, you then have the down payment to pay the bank or the seller for seller financing or whatever it might be, but you just have a whole nother option because instead of you having to come up with the money, you have other investors with you coming up with the money to buy that property. And I mentioned this already, but you can also list it for sale on Craigslist, the MLS, and every single other listing service out there. In fact, you should. If you are dire and you need that, you go out there and you market it for sale. And every person that comes and buy, you ask if they're an investor, and then you put them on your buyers list for future properties. So definitely your job is to be out there marketing this property. Next up would be asking realtors. Hey, realtor, do you actually have any buyers, any investors that would potentially want a property? And I know, realtors, they don't really like wholesalers all that much, or if you have that property, don't say, hey, realtor, I'm a wholesaler. You don't want to do that, but just say, hey, I have this property, I have it under contract. They'll get the picture that you're a wholesaler, that you have the investment. But you can ask them, do you have any buyers that would like a property? And I will split the commissions with you. I'll share it with you. You don't even have to do anything. Just connect me with some buyers and I will give you money. And then the worst case scenario is you literally lose your earnest money. Now, that's the worst last. In fact, in my opinion, not an option. You should be doing everything, always asking for extensions, always figuring out every single, all these tips that I just gave you, do every single one of them. Don't do one. If that doesn't work, then do another. Literally do all of them until you get somebody to actually buy that property. Now, the biggest tip I can give you is if you know what your buyers want beforehand, and then you find those sellers, the properties that your buyers want, and then you piece them together, just like a realtor would. You know what the product that the buyer wants. You can find the product, put them together. That's the best way to not run into any problems from having assignment of the contract. Click that subscribe button right now so I can get you all this great real estate investing content so you can learn how to become a successful investor.